Hello dear learners, welcome to the course on agriculture economics. So this is the first module of the course. So in this module we will discuss about concept of agriculture economics. Here we will know about concept of agriculture and economics, different definition of economics, approaches to study the agriculture economics. So let's first know what is agriculture economics. So agriculture economics, the term consists of two words, that is agriculture and economics. Before going into the detailed discussion about the agriculture economics as a whole, it is very much essential to understand what is agriculture and economics separately. The word agriculture, comes from two Latin words. One is ager, which means the soil, and other one is the culture, which means cultivation. Therefore, agriculture in the broader sense can be defined as the science or practice of farming, which includes cultivation of the soil for growing of different crops and rearing of different animals to provide food like milk, meat, egg, wools, and other byproducts. Agriculture includes growing of different crops like cereal, pulses, oilseed, fruits, vegetables, flowers, and other plantation crops like tea, coffee, etc. Agriculture also includes rearing of livestock like cattle, goat, poultry, fishery, sericulture, and apiculture. Apiculture means honey production. Agriculture is also a business that provides the global economy with different commodities. Now let's know why agriculture is important. Agriculture is the primary sector which provides food, raw materials to other non-agricultural sectors. In India, agriculture plays an important role in economic development. More than 50% of workforces of the country are engaged in agricultural sector. Agriculture contributes nearly 18% of the total gross domestic product of India. India is the second highest agricultural producer just after China. India is first in many production like production of spices, mango, lemon, banana, milk, jute, and okra, and second in production of rice, wheat, pulses, fruits, vegetables, fish, silk, tea, etc. So it can be concluded that Indian economy is incomplete without agriculture. So this is all about agriculture in brief. Now let's come to meaning of economics. Economic is the science that deals with production, exchange, and consumption of various goods and services in economic system. It studies how individuals, businesses, governments, and nations make choice on allocating different resources to satisfy their wants and their needs. So trying to determine how this group should organize and contribute and coordinate efforts to achieve maximum output. So for better understanding, let's take few examples. Suppose you are a student and staying in a hostel. So every month your parents send money for your different expenses. Suppose your expenses are like hostel fees for food and lodging, buying of books, and other necessary items, clothing, notebooks, etc. That means all the expenses must be within the limit of the money sent by your parents. Suppose for mass dues, you need 45% of your expenditure. For books and notebooks, 25% of your expenditure, then clothing 17%, miscellaneous 13%, like that. So how efficiently you spend this limited money to pay all your expenses without asking your parents for more money is called economics. Again, let's know what is economic for a farmer. So a farmer has to grow many crops like cereal, fruits, vegetables, rearing of poultry, livestock, etc. with his limited resources like land, labor, and money. How judiciously he managed to do all these activities with his limited resources is called economy. Similarly, a nation also has to work on development of infrastructure, industry, agriculture, etc. within the limit of its national income. Therefore, how the nation performs all these activities within the limit of national income with minimum deficit or without any deficit is called as economics. So in very simple language, this is a definition of economics. So economics shows how scarce resources can be used to increase the wealth and human welfare. Actually, two major factors are responsible for the emergence of economic problems. Number one is the existence of unlimited human wants. That means human wants are unlimited. Then scarcity of the available resources. That means against the unlimited human wants, resources are limited. The numerous human wants are to be satisfied through these scarce resources which are available in the nature. So economic deals with how these numerous human wants are to be satisfied with the limited resources. Thus we can say that the science of economics centers on want, effort and satisfaction. Suppose a man wants food, clothing and shelter. So to get these things he must have money. For getting money he must make an effort, and effort leads to satisfaction. Thus the want, effort, satisfaction sums up the subject matter of economics. Now let's come to the proper definition of economics. The word economics has been derived from a Greek word, that is oikonomikos, which means, and it is also divided into two parts. One is the oikos, which meaning a household, and nomos, which means management. So full meaning is what? It is the management of household. So there are numerous definitions for economics, but out of which 4 definitions are more famous. Number 1 is the Welch definition of economics. So this definition was given by Adam Smith, who is regarded as father economics. So Adam Smith is the father of economics. In his book, namely Wealth of Nation, this book defined economics as an inquiry into the nature and causes of the wealth of nations. So according to Adam, economics is the study of activities of people in production of wealth. So according to him, economic is only concerned with the wealth earning activities. For that reason, this definition is known as wealth definition. Second definition is welfare definition of economics, which was given by Alfred Marcel. So he defined as a study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. It examines that part of individual and social action which is most closely connected with the attainment and with the use of material requisites of well-being. So thus, from this definition, we can say the economics studies how man attained wealth and used the wealth for their well-being or welfare. So this definition emphasizes on welfare of the people. So number 3 is the scarcity definition of economics. It was given by Lionel Robbins. So he defined the economic as, so it is the science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative use. Here the ends indicate human wants and means indicates resources which are scarce, which are limited, with which these wants are fulfilled. So last definition or fourth definition is growth definition of economics, which was given by Paul Samuelson, and he defined the economic is the study of how man and the society choose, with or without money, to employ the scarce productive resources which could have alternative uses, to produce various commodities over time and distribute them for consumption now and in future among various people and groups of society. So this definition focused not only on present but also future growth of mankind. So now we know what is agriculture and what is economics. So by combining agriculture and economics, let's learn about different definitions of agricultural economics. Agriculture economics is an applied field of economics which deals with the principles that help the farmers in efficient use of different limited resources such as land, labor, capital, and management in farming and allied activities. So according to one definition, agriculture economics can be defined as the science in which the principles and methods of economics are applied to the special conditions of agriculture industry. Again, some other definition we can say, so agriculture economics can be defined as the study of relationships arise from the wealth getting and wealth using activity of man in agriculture. In other words, agriculture economics as a social science is concerned with the human behavior during the process of production, processing, distribution, and consuming the products on farms and ranches. So, from this definition, it can be concluded that the subject of the agriculture economics deals with the problems of farms, income earning and spending activities of the farmers, and also the management of farm business and making necessary changes according to the situation so as to bring stability and also the profitability to farm income. Now, let's know about different approaches or methods to study economics, which are also applicable to agriculture economics. Here we will learn how to study the different problems of agriculture economics, how the economic statements are made under different studies. So number one is the deductive method. So this deductive method is also called analytical or abstract or a priori method. Here economists proceed from general to particular, that is from the universal to individuals. Here economists they make the reasoning or they make the inference which are given from the general to particular. So for better understanding, let's take some example, because this general to particular statement are made based on certain assumption and truth. So take one simple example, that is that leaves. So leaves of all plants are green. This thing we all know, right? So it is a general statement. So now we take one example of plant, suppose lemon. So lemon is a plant. So leaves of lemon are also green. So it is a particular statement. That means from the general statement, like from the previous one, that leaves of all plants are green. This is a general statement. So from this we can make this particular statement that lemon is a plant. So leaves of lemon are also green. Again, take an agriculture related example. All the marginal farmers are facing problems of distress sale. So it is a statement which is based on different studies which is done for the marginal farmer. Now, who are the marginal farmer? A farmer having less than 1 hectare of land area is called marginal farmer. Again, what is distress sale? During the time of harvesting, market price of any crop is very low. But due to financial obligation, marginal farmers are forced to sell their produce at very low price immediately after harvesting. So this situation is called distress sale. So from the study, we have found that marginal farmer face the problem of distress sale. This is a general statement. Suppose Ram Prasad is a marginal farmer. Therefore, he is also facing the problem of distress sale of his product. So this is a particular statement, and this particular statement is made based on the above general statement. I think you understand what is deductive method. Let's know the other method. This is the inductive method. And this inductive method, also known as historical or empirical or posterior method, here the investigator moves from particular to general. It involves reasoning from individual to universal. It is based on experiments and observations. Here detailed data are collected from individuals and then arrive at a certain generalization. Just take one example. So leaves of lemon are green, leaves of mango are green, leaves of roses are green, and this is a particular statement, and these all are what? These are all are plant. So leaves of all plants are green. It is a general statement. So from the particular statement we can make the general statement in this way. Let's take another real example. Suppose we want to find out the major crop grown in Assam. For that, we need to collect data from different sample of farmers from different districts of Assam individually through survey to know what is the major crop they are growing in their field. After data collection and interpretation, it has come to know that rice is a major crop grown by majority of the farmers. So now we can generalize that rice is a major crop grown in Assam. So in this way we can make general conclusion from different particular and individual conclusions. Scope and importance of agriculture economics. Here we will learn about scope of agriculture economics, nature of agriculture economics, need for a separate study of agriculture economics, and lastly importance of agriculture economics. So let's know about scope of agriculture economics. Scope means what? Scope means field of study. The scope of agriculture economics covers the subject matter of the economics. There are two approaches to study the subject matter of economics. One is the traditional approach and other one is the modern approach. So let's know first about the traditional approach. These are nothing but these are the beliefs of classical economists. So traditionally, subject matter of economics can be studied under four divisions. Number one is the consumption, then production, exchange, and lastly distribution. Number one is the consumption. So consumption means the use of wealth, commodities, and services to satisfy human wants. It also means the destruction of utility or using up of utility. Now what is utility? So utility is nothing but this is the capacity of any good to satisfy the human wants. Through consumption we use the utility, so it represents using up of utilities. So eating food, using pen and paper, wearing clothes, etc. are nothing but these are the examples of consumption. Then production. Production is an activity that helps to create or add utility. It involves different processes and methods in which one set of goods is transformed into the other set of goods. In economics, only creation of utilities is not treated as production. That produced goods should have also value. The production process transforms the input or resources into the output or products. For example, different inputs like seeds, fertilizers, waters, etc. when are added to soil, they are transformed into a crop. Then exchange. It implies transfer of goods from one person to other. It may occur among different groups of individuals, countries, markets, regions, and so on. The exchange of goods leads to an increase in welfare of the individuals through creation of the higher utilities for goods and services. For example, the utility of a cauliflower is higher in a market than a farmer's field. So, through exchange, the utility of cauliflower increases and also both farmers and buyers are benefited. Now, let's come to distribution. Distribution of goods means the process of allocating and delivering products or resources to individuals or group of individuals. It involves determining how goods are divided and made available to customers of different places. So it means to spread the product throughout different marketplaces such that a large number of people can buy it. The proper distribution of the wealth and resources definitely lead to growth and economic welfare of the people in a nation. So this is about the traditional approach, which includes consumption, production, exchange, and lastly distribution. Now come to the modern approach. So under the modern approach, economics is studied under two divisions. One is the microeconomics and other one is the macroeconomics. So microeconomics, this term is derived from a Greek word, micros, which meaning small. It deals with economic behaviors of individual economic units such as consumer, producer, business firm, etc. It also studies the flow of economic resources from the resource owners to the business firms and the flow of goods and services from the business firms to the household or ultimate consumers. Microeconomics covers theory of consumer behavior, theory of value. Theory of value is nothing but this is the product pricing and factor or input pricing, and the theory of economic welfare. Therefore, it is also known as price theory. So this is about the microeconomics in nutshell. Now let's know about macroeconomics. So macroeconomics, this term derived from the Greek word macros, which means large. It considers the economic system as a whole. So the study of the economics of a nation is an example of macroeconomics. It concerns with the value of the overall flow of goods and the value of overall flow of the resources in a country, in the world. It covers national income, GDP, theory of employment, theory of money and prices, banking, policy formulation and analysis, theory of distribution, general equilibrium analysis, etc. So this macroeconomics is also known as income theory since mainly it studies about the income. Since the agriculture economics is the branch of economics, so agriculture economics is not different from the general economics. All the tools of analysis used in general economics are employed in agriculture economics as well. We have the same branches of agriculture economics as in case of general economics, such as economics of production, consumption, exchange, distribution, marketing, financing and planning, and policy making, etc. An economic study at the micro and macro level for the agricultural sector is also made just similar to the general economics. To be more specific, agriculture economics examines how a farmer chooses various enterprise like production of crops or raising of cattle, and how he chooses various activities in the same enterprise, for example, which crop to grow, which crop to drop, how the costs are to be minimized, what combination of inputs for an activity are to be chosen, what amount of each crop is to be produced, what type of commercial relation and farmers should have with other people, from whom they purchase their inputs or to whom they sell their products, etc. Again, agriculture economics does not study only the behavior of a farmer at the farm level, which is under the microanalysis. Agriculture problems also have a macro aspect as well. Instability of agriculture, agricultural unemployment, the way government decide how to support farmers, etc. are some examples of agricultural problems which have to be dealt with mainly at the macro level. Therefore, we can consider the scope of general economics as the scope of agriculture economics as well. So this is all about the scope of agriculture economics. Now let's know about nature of agriculture economics. By nature, agriculture economics is both a social science and natural science. It is a social science. Why? Because farmers' decisions, activities and the functions are affected by society, and precise management of the farmer's decisions without influence of social institutions and religious beliefs are difficult. Agricultural economics studies the social relationships of the farmers with the other members of a society. It is also a natural science because it uses principles, scientific methods, and innovations which are suggested by agricultural scientists in agricultural activities. Some agricultural economics have called agricultural economics as an applied science also. According to Gray, he was in agricultural economics. So according to Gray, agricultural economics may be defined as the science in which the principles and methods of economics are applied to special conditions of agricultural industry. For that reason, agriculture is also an applied science. Again, agricultural economics is both a science as well as an art. What is science? Science is a systematized body of knowledge that traces the relationship between cause and the effect. And on the other hand, an art is a systematized body of knowledge which is a system of procedures to attain a given objective or goal. In other words, we can say science teaches us to know and art teaches us to do. As science, agricultural economics explained the cause and effect relationship among various economic variables operating in agriculture. On the other hand, the relationship as found to exist can be used to solve various problems affecting agriculture, which indicates that agricultural economics is also an art. Further, as is the case of general economics, agricultural economics is also a normative science because it prescribes what ought to promote human welfare by making distinction between good and bad and involved ethical values. Now, what is ethical value? Ethical values are the kind of values that have to do with being good or doing the right thing. For example, agricultural economics tells us what is the average income of a farmer of India, and on the other hand also suggests the desirable level of income for better livelihood of the farmers. The nature of agricultural economics is really unique because nature or the environment plays an important role in its working. Actually, this unique nature of agricultural economics comes from the unique features of agricultural production, which distinctly from the other non-agricultural sectors, especially industrial production. Therefore, let's know why there is a need for a separate study of agricultural economics. Prior to 1900, agricultural economics did not exist as a field of specialized study either within general economics departments or in the colleges of agriculture, although courses in agricultural economics and economics of agriculture appeared in the college catalogs at the University of Illinois and at Cornell University of United States before 1870. The rapid growth of agricultural economics as an academic field was seen between 1900 and the early 1920s, which reflected the emerging interest of a numbers of men who have been trained in several agricultural disciplines such as agronomy, horticulture, animal husbandry, and soil science in different agricultural economics concepts like factors affecting the cost of production and economics of farm management, particularly in the problems such as the economics of enterprise selection, choice of production methods, and the financing and ultimately growth of the farm. It also reflected the growing interest of a number of economists in problems of agricultural policy, the behavior of the agricultural commodity market, and the economies of land use. The nature of agricultural economics is such that it obtained most of the principle required from the general economics, which means there is no basic difference between the principles of general economics as well as of the agricultural economics. If it is so, the question is why there is need of separate study of agricultural economics? The answer is very simple. Agricultural economics doesn't imply a direct application of the principle of economics. Rather, it is just a generalization from reality. It means that different principles of economics are required to be modified before applying in agriculture so that their assumptions completely tally with the main features of the real situation. So this modification of economic principles are so large and varied in nature that there is complete justification for studying the agricultural economics as a separate branch. Again, the need for a separate study of agricultural economics also comes from unique nature of agricultural production, which makes it different from the other disciplines. So different features of agricultural economics are like that. Number one is what? Most of the farmers consider farming as a way of life rather than business opportunity. This is mainly due to their small and scattered land holdings and large extent of family labor involvement. They are easily satisfied with mere fulfillment of their family requirement. The sense of entrepreneurship is yet to be well developed among the farmers, especially in India and other developing countries. Then, second point is, agriculture being a biological activity is totally dependent on weather. Different factors like rainfall, temperature, humidity, etc. have significant effect on agricultural production. The next point is, agricultural production are seasonal in nature. Different crops like rice, wheat, pulses, vegetables, fruits, etc. are grown in different seasons. Thus, the production of agricultural commodities is not uniform throughout the year. The next reason is, the agricultural commodities are perishable in nature. Perishable means these products or these commodities cannot be stored for a longer period of time. The storage period of farm commodities ranges from few hours for flour to few days for fruits and vegetables, or few years, suppose for cereals, pulses, oilseeds, etc. So it results in price variation in the same day, in same season, and among the different seasons in a year. Let's come to the next point. Many agricultural products are joint product, which means they are produced from the same production process like paddy and straw, mustard oil and mustard cake, etc. Since they are joint products, the cost of production of main product, suppose paddy, and the byproduct, suppose straw, cannot be separated. And the next problem is, most of the farm products are bulky in nature, which exert pressure on storage and transportation. Bulky means they are huge in quantity. Problems of standardization are generally found in agriculture due to variation in appearance, size, shape, color, quality, taste, etc. for different varieties of crops. Then again we can say that there is a lapse of time between the decision to produce and gaining actual output in agriculture, which is called production period. For example, rice needs 4 to 6 months, sugarcane needs 1 year, green gum takes 3 months, etc. to grow. So this time lag in production may interfere with the farmer's plan. During that time, anything can happen. Price fluctuation may occur, which in turn affects farm incomes. So next point, agriculture requires large proportion of land, which is divided into several small and scattered holding. And again, in agriculture, law of diminishing returns starts to operate at an earlier stage than the industry sector. Now, what is law of diminishing returns? So, law of diminishing returns means after a certain stage has been reached, the application of every additional input units in a given unit of land results in a lesser proportionate production of output. Thus, it leads to an increase in cost of production per unit of output. Farm business takes relatively longer time to return the investment as compared to the industrial production. This is another problem of agricultural sector. And again, due to seasonal nature of the production, the response of output to change in price is low. That is, demand and supply of agricultural products changes very slowly. Even their price increases, if the sowing time is over, then the farmer is unable to increase the supply. Similarly, most of the agricultural products are basic necessities of the life. That means they are essential for human survival. So, these products have definite but limited market demand irrespective of the price changes. Therefore, to deal with these distinguished problems, agricultural economics has been evolved as a separate study. So, lastly, let's know about some importance of agricultural economics. The field of agricultural economics seeks the relevance between different causes and effects in agriculture using different advanced methods like production functions, programming module. It uses theoretical concepts of economics to provide answer to the problems which are related to production, consumption, exchange, and distribution of the agricultural goods and services. It also helps the farmers to take decisions regarding production of goods and services as well as quantities and increase in the efficiency of the production. The agricultural sector plays a strategic role in the process of economic development of any country. That thing we know. So it is convinced that increased agricultural output and productivity tend to contribute significantly to an overall economic development of a nation. Therefore, it will be rational and appropriate to place greater emphasis on further development of the agriculture sector. Here, the major role has to be played by agricultural economists in understanding the different complexities which are involved in crop and animal production system. Agricultural economics also provide clear insight and understanding of the effect of climate on production and marketing of the agricultural commodities. It also shows the profitability and applicability of different technologies developed by other disciplines of agriculture in real life situation. It also provides knowledge regarding problems related to production, finance, marketing, government policies, and their impact on production and distribution. So this knowledge is very much essential to solve different farm problem. Therefore, under agricultural economics, different subject disciplines like microeconomics, macroeconomics, agricultural production economics, farm management, agriculture marketing, price analysis, finance, etc. are taught separately. So with this point, I have concluded my lecture on agricultural economics. So I hope you get better understanding about the agricultural economics. Thank you.